Welcome everyone to the first Universe Reviews covering the Arrowverse. This is a show that covers everything that the shows do and the universe it sets up. Seeing how the Arrowverse crosses over to The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and even Supergirl, this Arrow Season 1 recap is just the start. Now, while I did say that this is the first Universe Reviews, I did sort of have a head start, a prequel start covering the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I started from the Phase 1 to Phase 2. I stopped there at Phase 2, and the link in the description is below if you're interested. Now, as I start this, you will be seeing me break down the seasons as I need to and cover where the story leads, what happens, and where these characters cross over and change throughout their important story arcs. And bear in mind that this is a spoiler recap, so if I forget anything, you are more than welcome to comment below and talk about anything you feel is worth talking about. I have a general review if you're interested in just knowing what the show's about and what I think of it. Check out the description box. And lastly, if you're watching this, you know who these characters are. I'm assuming. So if you don't, no need to worry. I'm going to explain enough of who they are. So if you want to just know what happens in this season, just to jump ahead, by all means. But without further ado, let's jump into Arrow Season 1. So right off the bat, Arrow Season 1 can be reviewed and recapped on its own. It doesn't cross over with anything or anyone. This is a starter, the world builder, and Arrow is definitely trying to find its own identity in just this season alone. Okay, so the first 6 episodes rely heavily on Oliver Queen's return, and what he does to reconnect with the people and how he adapts to the lies, secrets, and double life he now leads. First episode starts us off like a good pilot should. Oliver Queen is rescued from the island he has been on for 5 years. Revealed to be alive by the news, and his family welcomes him home. His mother, Moira, his new stepfather, Walter, his sister, Thea, and his best friend, Tommy Merlyn. Now, when Oliver and his friend Tommy are both attacked after a joyride getting to know the lay of the city, Oliver finds himself in a perfect opportunity to spring his persona into gear by telling the police a hooded man rescued him. For peace of mind, Moira gives Oliver a bodyguard, John Diggle, while Oliver dips out on Diggle countless times, adding hilarious exchanges between John and Oliver. Episodes 2 through 6 slowly uncovers Oliver's plan as this hooded vigilante becomes talk of the police, especially Detective Quentin Lance. Quentin is definitely personally involved with Oliver's return, seeing how his daughters were both seeing Oliver. However, Oliver started sleeping with Laurel's sister, who died in the boat wreck, so you can imagine the drama inflicted when Oliver shows up, with a lot of remorse and unprocessed feelings from everyone. Anyway, Oliver carries a list of names, high-ranking names, wealthy, and of considerable influence throughout the city, and he is taking them out one by one. John Diggle eventually finds out about Oliver's secret. Quentin Lance gets really close to uncovering it. Hell, even Oliver's ex-girlfriend gets close to realizing it. But Oliver maintains his persona and realizes the toll it takes on him keeping all these secrets. Now, episodes 7 and 8 is a two-parter that features an uprising of the Huntress, and Oliver helps her see a better way to go about justice. It's a good two-parter. While Oliver has indeed made his match in finding someone equal to him, things do go south and Oliver is back at it being alone again. Episode 9 features Arrow's nemesis for this season, and it's, wait for it, John Barrowman as Malcolm Merlyn, and, wait for it again, his son, Tommy Merlyn, is Oliver Queen's best friend. Ooh, the drama is thick! Malcolm Merlyn is the Dark Archer, but as his persona, nobody knows that he's the Dark Archer, so he starts killing people off on Oliver's list as a copycat archer, and it starts making the group Merlyn and Oliver's mother, Moira, a part of very twitchy, but they don't know that Merlyn's the one doing all this. But things come to a head in this episode, leaving the Hood and Oliver, of course, out of commission. Episode 10 shows a recovering Oliver, but a missing Hood from the city. Where firefighters are being killed on the line of duty, Diggle begs Oliver to come back. But for the most part, he doesn't. But of course, Oliver does come to his senses and begins his hunt on the names from that book yet again. Episodes 11 through 16 juggles personal stories that deal with Thea, Moira, Tommy, and pretty much everyone else that are deeply personally involved that tests the limits of Oliver's family, Oliver's love life, and friendships. Laurel's mom shows up talking about her sister Sarah, thinking she may be alive. Tommy finds out that Oliver's leading a double life. And Deadshot returns, emotionally compromising Diggle. And though I have not actually explained it, Diggle actually lost his brother to Deadshot, and in the one episode before, Arrow shoots him in the eye, but we thought that was it, but instead it's a reprisal, Deadshot's back, and then Diggle's kind of like, okay, I want my revenge. The underlining element, especially in all these episodes, is a drug called Vertigo. The themes rely heavily on family, and the stories are much more personal to Oliver's life, focusing on each character one by one. Episode 17 through 19. Huntress Returns. Makes things a little bit worse for Oliver as he loses yet another girlfriend that he was trying to, go steady with. The Huntress escapes to be a problem another day. Great. But by episode 18, Oliver discovers that the secret organization that he is targeting involved the Glades in a really big plan that's happening, which it's a neighborhood filled with crime, and there's a lot of personal ties there too. So things are shaken by episode 19. Tommy quits the new nightclub as tension between Tommy and Oliver come to a head. A reprisal villain comes back, but by the end, Tommy asks for a job from his father, which kind of complicates things, but it's just kind of like, oh boy. Lastly, episode 20 through 23. With these last 4 episodes, you get a lot of things come to a head, and it's really good. The flashbacks are really the highlight here, where Oliver, Slade Wilson, Yao Fei, and his daughter go up against Fires, who is planning to bring down a commercial airline to bankrupt the Chinese government. Presently, Laurel tries to protect this family who's been wronged by a corrupt businessman, but things go south when the businessman hires an assassin and kills the family except for a small boy. Laurel and Tommy go to Oliver's place for security, and there the assassin attacks. This was a really good episode, by the way. I really like this one. Walter is finally rescued, who was taken early on in the season by Malcolm Merlyn, later rescued by Oliver with the help of Felicity. Unfortunately, the reunion is short-lived as Walter has uncovered one lie too many with Moira and files for a divorce. But it's these last few episodes that really set up Malcolm Merlyn, who has a deep personal vendetta against the Glades, which I had mentioned before. Malcolm wishes to level the city, which has a lot of people that live there at stake. Everyone's pretty much involved. Thea and this guy, Laurel and Quentin, everyone pretty much Oliver knows. I mentioned all this earlier, but it's really kind of personally affecting. But it's coming down to trying to stop the device that can create a man-made earthquake to level part of the city. Oliver goes for round 3 against Malcolm Merlyn, and poor Tommy, odd man out, losing his life to try and save Laurel when the earthquake happens. Now, at least at this point, I think Tommy is dead. I don't know if he really is dead, so don't spoil that for me. I'm not there yet. I have yet to watch season 2. But we're getting there, but as far as I know, Tommy is dead. It ends on a cliffhanger as the earthquake has left destruction in its wake and unsure of anyone's life in the balance. And this, my friends, is the end of Arrow Season 1 and the end of my show Universe Reviews. I really do hope you enjoyed. The recap is really for you to get into Arrow if you so choose, or need it as a refresher. Nevertheless, this is the start to me reviewing the Arrowverse, so not all of these episodes are going to be like this, covering a full season. Check out the description below to see how I'm going to recap review these shows to uncover this whole universe. I would really like for this series, Universe Reviews, to be a part of your world. So if you could please hit that like button if you enjoyed this, subscribe to help the cause further, to continue doing more reviews and recaps like this. Next recap review will be on Arrow Season 2, and from here, it's only going to get interesting. So thank you all so much for watching, and as always, until next time.